Time froze at my 18th birthday party, and I paid the price for bullying my friend. This may not be the right place for my story, but I just experienced a fundamental fracture in reality. I'd love some comforting comments. Does anybody want to tell me that I hallucinated the entire thing? I wouldn't believe you, but it wouldn't hurt to try. For my birthday, I invited some friends to my parents' house. We were relaxing in the garden, sitting on rickety deck chairs, blasting Alt-J through a tinny Alexa speaker, nursing canned cider that Dad bought for us. Yeah, I often try to be aware of the fact that I'm a socially inept, acne-ridden teen, but knowing that I'm something doesn't make it any less true. My impulses often get the best of me. Last weekend, on the day of my party, that was exactly what happened. It's your turn, Lila, I cackled. And I dare you to kiss John. Lila turned bright red. I didn't really want to play this game, Mike. Boo! John cried, pursing his lips. Come on, Lila. Give me a smooch. Don't be idiots, guys, Katie groaned. Lila doesn't want to kiss John, and I don't blame her. Come on, it's the rule, I said, unleashing a callous laugh. Or would you rather go home, Lila? I'm deeply ashamed of that emotional manipulation. Lila is a reserved, introverted person with deeply rooted anxiety, and I used that to my advantage. She wasn't going to refuse. She didn't want to be kicked out of the group. For a fleeting moment, tears filled her eyes, and I felt a piercing pang of guilt. Lila leaned forwards, preparing to kiss John, and then a terrifying thing happened. Time halted. Or rather, my friends halted. The tree leaves and grass strands continued to flutter in the ever-quickening gusts of howling wind. Guys? I whispered, frightfully clambering to my feet and waving my hands in front of their frozen faces. Then I heard a distorted chuckle, which sounded eerily like my own, and goosebumps covered my flesh. Other than the whistling wind, the laugh was the only sound in that haunting realm. I spun around to face the back of my garden, and I saw a shape behind the fence. Something was peering through the gaps between the panels. I saw an eye. Almost human, but far too wide, and stretched horribly out of shape.
It's your turn, Mike,
A petrifying voice taunted, parroting my own words. I screamed as the figure squeezed itself through the fence panels, slithering its misshapen half-human body into my garden. And there, standing at the edge of the lawn, pointing a gnarled finger at me, was a jumbled version of Lila. Limbs disfigured, one eye larger than the other, and crooked, colourless lips. I looked at the real Lila, who was still stuck in time, and then I returned my gaze to the smiling monstrosity that was slinking towards me.
and I dare you to remove a finger, Mike.
The horror wheezed in an inhuman voice.
It's the rule.
Existential dread consumed me. I'm having a psychotic break, I thought. A mental breakdown, induced by my guilt. I still would believe that, were it not for what happened next. Lila's spectre seized me by the neck, and raised my wriggling body from the ground. I shrieked, gazing into the eyes of the girl's embodied trauma, a malevolent demon of my own creation. Please, I begged, choking.
It's the rule,
Lila repeated, bellowing. With unnaturally long, sharp fingernails, the creature tore at the flesh on my chest. I wailed in excruciating pain at the deep gashes, which released pools of blood into my shirt.
or would you rather go home?
Lila asked, looking down and cackling. The lawn caved inwards, revealing an endless void beneath the surface of the earth. Lila tossed me to the grass and smiled. Laughing as I crawled away from the ever-expanding hole in the ground. Terrified beyond measure, I took a look at my left pinky finger and wondered how I could remove it to free myself of that frozen nightmare. The searing pain from the claw marks on my chest made it difficult to think coherently. In a moment of insanity, driven by a primal urge to survive, I placed my pinky finger in my mouth. I thought of something I'd heard about the strength of the human jaw. We can tear through flesh and bone with our teeth. It's possible, but it's a question of mentality rather than physicality. I bit. If I were to describe the pain, words would be insufficient. I nearly blacked out, and all I remember is Lila's ghoul grinning at me with those haunting eyes as my pinky tore free from my hand. And then my friends were screaming. "Mike!" John yelled, jumping to his feet. How did you get over there in the space of a second?" They ran over to my bloodied, mangled body several yards away. "What happened to him?" Katie screeched. "Call an ambulance!" Lila looked just as perplexed as the rest of my friends. I truly believe she had nothing to do with what happened. Reality broke for a moment, and it was caused by her pain. It was caused by me. Whatever the case, I learned something on my 18th birthday. Actions have consequences, even when others don't see those consequences. Lila hid her pain, but that didn't make it any less real. I saw the terror within her mind. I apologized to my friend, and I pray I've fixed the glitch in reality. I pray her fractured self never haunts me.